Whoa, and we are back, and we are so sorry for the big delay, folks. A little bit of technical difficulties on Michael John's end, so hopefully Michael John will be jumping in here very soon to join us for this amazing, amazing show. Folks, I just want to say once again, thank you for everybody who watched our show over the weekend, coming live from the Little Travis Bay Parafest in Bentowski, Michigan. It was a fantastic weekend. Got to meet so many amazing people. At the same time, we were always got to meet some new people. Jason McLeod, author of Dark Siege. Folks, if you have not read this book, I would suggest go out. It's an actual case based off the Warrens. So go out, check that book out. At the same time, folks, like I said, it was a fantastic weekend. We look forward to getting back out to Bentowski next year for number 9 at the Little Traverse Bay Parafest. In the meantime, folks, don't forget, coming up, we have June 24th. We're going to be at the Chaos Con in Wixom, Michigan. So, folks, come on down, check us out there. It's going to be a really amazing event. So, in the meantime, folks, we are going to bring out 2 amazing people. We've had one on the show before, and we get to talk to another one for the first time. So let me bring these people up. First, I'd like to introduce everybody to Bishop Rita Strugala, and we have Mr. Richard Valdes. Folks, welcome to the TPV Nation. Welcome, everybody. This is exciting. I'm glad to have Rita back, and glad to meet you, Rich.
Pleasure is all the same here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
So, folks, we are talking about exorcisms tonight, and these are 2 of the best in the business right now, and they have something that's coming out later on this year. So right now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play a trailer from their new show that's coming out. Is it June this year it's coming out? Debuts in June?
June 1st. Yeah.
June 1st. So here it is, folks. Check out this awesome trailer. I saw it for the first time as I was loading into the streams. We'll be right back.
Evil is on the rise. Demons battle to possess our souls and drag us one step closer to hell. But now, there is a gathering of spiritual warriors who defend us against the devil's minions.
Go back to hell! St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
And unite to banish the demons in our midst.
This was the case that opened my eyes.
This 17-year-old girl was so distraught that she would do anything to talk to her dad one more time.
Disturbing things started happening. You could feel the presence. It was just terrifying.
We ended up having our very first demonic experience. It frightened me. It frightened me to the core.
Demons wait patiently for the ultimate checkmate. The rise of the Antichrist. Which will lead to the final battle between good and evil. Until then, the spiritual warfare will continue. These are the true stories of the Legion of Exorcists.
Well, good morning.
Wow.
Good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are in this great big world. My name is Michael John. I am your co-ghost host, along with the man of the hour, the man with the power. He's too sweet to be sour, folks. His name, of course, is Dale Quigley of High Spirits Paranormal. Together, we are the voice of the paranormal for the paranormal. Windsor, Ontario's own, the paranormal voice. And what a ring-a-ding-dong dandy of a show we got today, folks. We have the one and only Bishop Rita Strugala, and Rich Valdes. but we're going to talk to them about their upcoming show. And what is the show called, Dale?
The Legion of Exorcists, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, I just watched a trailer. How could I lose that? Well, it's good that Michael John just, we play this trailer and we summoned the Michael John. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I switched to my phone instead of trying to be fancy with the fancy microphone and the camera. I was just slowing stuff down, so I got on the stream right through my phone, and we're working good. And that's the bottom line. We're all here together. So, Bishop, Rita, Rich, great to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you
for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You guys got to be stoked. I mean, oh my God, you're on the Travel Channel. You got this TV series doing what you both love for years and years now. I mean, it reads like the who's who of what you've done, where you've been, and how many people you've saved from, via exorcism. Let's start with Rich. I mean, Rich, what got you involved in this?
This was a calling. I actually, as early on as a kid, I can remember, I always had interest in the paranormal, and I always had interest in angels and demons and whatnot. The first pastor to approach me, which was my first mentor, was Pastor Frank Marzullo. And he approached me as soon as I was about to turn 18. And he said, look, I know you have a niche for this, and that usually means you have a calling. I'd like to be able to train you. And I started training as early as 18. And that was why, I've earned, with him, I was able to train for 2.5 years until unfortunately he passed away. I went for a few more years just studying on my own until I found another church that I was able to catch on to. And Pastor Leon finished my training as a religious demonologist, and then was finally recognized as a religious demonologist, and then went from there years and years working with that church and working for them as a demonologist until Bishop James Long reached out to me in 2010 and made me administrator for his, at that time, paranormal clergy, now mine. And for 5 years he was training me to be a demonologist for the United States Old Catholic Church. So I officially have the plaque. It's out there. I could get it if you want, but it's a passion. It's a calling. It's not something that you just, one day say, I've watched a few episodes of Supernatural, I think I'm going to try this. No.
I bet.
And I'm sure I speak for Bishop Rita Strugala and also everybody else that's in the cast. It's a calling. It's just not something you just do,
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How far is the plaque from you? You got to go for a long walk, or?
I'll make it quick.
Awesome.
But I can get it. It's not a big deal. I got nothing to hide. Hi, Rhonda. How are you?
So,
Sorry.
Rita, your turn. How did you get started?
Well, I did the opposite. I did everything I could to get away from the darkness.
So did I.
I wanted nothing to do with it whatsoever. And I had paranormal groups since I was like 16, actually when I was 11, but people don't really count that. So, but
Right.
About 16 when I had my first real group that we went around to places and stuff like that. So the paranormal came very early for me as well. And I had a big interest in it. I wanted to know how something could talk that didn't have a voice box. I wanted to know, how does that happen? I wanted to know why my camera saw things that I didn't. All of that stuff, just I couldn't understand it. So that's what got me into the paranormal. And then it got to the point where at one point where the cases were starting to get darker and darker and darker. And I would do everything I could to find somebody that I felt was qualified to handle that, because I was not. I did everything I could to stay away from that. And then it became very clear that the Lord was really wanting me to go in that direction. And I always dug my heels in and nope, not me. Nope, not this girl. And it was just so funny because it everyday thing kind of thing. I mean, it was just, it's so hard to explain, but it's like when I left South Georgia to come back home, take care of my parents, because they were elderly and were having trouble. I had started a book, or tried to, when I was in South Georgia. I could not get the first, I couldn't get the first darn, even the first chapter done. And I thought, man, I suck at this, and I just kind of gave it up. Got here, and all of a sudden, I'm like writing furiously. I have a 21 chapter book I wrote all within 3 weeks.
Oh,
And
Wow.
it was crazy that the eighth chapter, I'm telling you, I still don't know who wrote that because I'm not good at physics, but I've got it in there. And I'm like, so, and it came time to maybe publish it. And I started dragging my feet, and it's like, what is wrong with me? Why don't I? And that's when it occurred to me. It's like, no, this wasn't to publish. This was to show me how far I'd come. And it's things like
Right.
that. It was just things that constant everyday things. And it was like, see, I've got your back. Look how far you've come. You can do this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. And then it's the whole, how long can I tell him no before he gets mad and smites me? So, but it took a while. And the thing that really pushed me over the edge was a case we did. And we got there and we had somebody go into absolute possession. And there was no one else around. And it's like, what are you going to do?
Okay.
And after I had time to think about it, after it was over with and we had released her of what was going on, it was like, he knew that was the only way he'd ever get me into it. There was no way I would have walked into it myself. That was my worst nightmare. So
I want to state, and for the record, I'm not an exorcist, though. I am a demonologist, religious demonologist. But,
very knowledgeable one.
Thank you. But religious demonologists, at least within the United States Old Catholic Church, are not really allowed to do exorcisms. We haven't been formally trained to do exorcisms, but in the many years, and I'd say 35 plus years that I've been doing this as a religious demonologist, we are formally trained to do deliverances, which is a huge difference. And deliverance is completely different from the solemn rite and the minor rite of exorcism, which is only allowed to be done by bishops or priests that have been formally trained by other individuals that know what they're doing and have done, are seasoned vets when it comes to exorcisms. But deliverances I can do in a crunch if I have to, and I've had to in the past. But once again, and this is one of the things that people don't seem to understand, and it's clumped together over the years. And me being involved in both the paranormal field in one hand, and then being involved in also theology, what's happened is that theology has been clumped with the paranormal, and that in itself is the wrong thing to do, because paranormal, you're dealing with human spirits. You're dealing with the phenomenon of supernatural, paranormal activity happening, poltergeists, hauntings, spiritual visitation, EVPs and whatnot. And that's the scientific methodology being applied to the paranormal. But when you're dealing with something like the demonic, like what Rita's been talking about, like Bishop Rita's been talking about, you need to keep in mind, you're dealing with a species of fallen angels that have existed long before you and I and the whole human race ever existed. So they know us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
So to understand how they think, because they already know how we think, they know what our weaknesses are and our strengths are. They use our weaknesses against us. This is more psychological warfare. And you do need to know how to combat this, not only for yourself, but also for those people that are being victimized by something demonic. So I just wanted to clear the air a little bit. Yes, I am a demonologist, but I do not have the authority unless the church calls me in to assist. The Old Catholic Church asked me to call in, come in and assist on an exorcism. Yeah, I can't be going around saying, I'm, cast out the devil, and I don't even have formal training for an exorcism, but I do have training for a deliverance when it comes to that.
But you've definitely been a witness to more than one exorcism. Like, you've been right there in the thick of it, watching it happen.
My first one, I was 18, and I had been asked by my pastor and mentor, Frank Marzullo, to sit back and it was a two-way glass. I could see in, but they couldn't see in. It was like a mirror. And I saw a couple walk in. There was a church elder and Pastor Marzullo, and then it was a couple, and I believe they're the young lady's mother and father. And I remember her sitting down on a chair, standing up, and all of a sudden she just fell flat. You know, when you fall, you try to catch yourself. She didn't try and catch herself. She just fell flat on her face.
Whoa.
Next thing you know, her back arched up, and without the use of her hands, and she just started bobbing back and forth, and then she started slithering around the church.
I've had that happen too.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And she came back towards the chair and arched her back, started, you know, doing this again.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if the demon, I can't say her, the demon saw through that glass and saw that I was doing this.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And then she kind of looked past one the elder, the co-pastor, and said, "He's next," looking right at me.
Oh, wow.
Let's just say I ran to the couch all the way to the back, and I just started reading the Bible. I was like, okay, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Wow. That's intense.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's just we got some people that are tuned in right now. Just let me acknowledge these people. We have Tina, we have Chris and Bob, who we met at up in Oxford, Michigan. Amazing people. We got the lovely Miss Rhonda Hart on board.
Rhonda.
Love Rhonda.
Oh,
we have Lynn Dodds watching. We have Sarah Strickland, and we have Amanda watching. So thank you, everybody. If anybody's got any questions for either Bishop Rita or Rich, you know, feel free to put them in the comments, and we will make sure that they'll answer the questions as best as they can. But no, I mean, I think I'd go dive in a pool of holy water if something said I was next. I'd be like,
I wanted to, but there wasn't
just this water, and I'll just live underneath the water somehow.
So I have a question. When you mentioned about the fallen angels, Rich.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of cryptozoology as well, such as Bigfoot, such as Dogman, and they get alluded to being the Nephilim a lot, being fallen angels a lot, or part of. Is there any? Have you ever had any proof or any? Would you concur and agree there is some sort of a relation with a Dogman or a Bigfoot to what you, or even Bishop Rita, of course, what either you've experienced? Is there some sort of a connection with those beings too?
Ladies first. Go ahead, Bishop.
For me, I have not seen that. I don't believe so. I believe it's a totally different species and thing like that. I really don't. That's just me. I'm not going to say that I've studied it real well in that. I haven't. But I kind of feel like they're interdimensional beings, possibly. That's why people don't actually, why they don't find a lot of their bones when they die and stuff like that. I think they're like here and gone, and I just, maybe use the whole portal thing.
I believe they're much like what Bishop said, they are extra dimensional creatures. But I do have to say that, fallen angels, ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call them, aren't they extra dimensional as well?
True.
So we have to think along the lines of there is Nephilims.
Yeah.
And that is mentioned in the Bible. They were giants, and they were, heroes of old, as the Bible does speak of.
Right.
And I often wonder, is this what we're dealing with? Is this something that has gone kind of like under the radar over the years? It's very possible. I would wager to say that they do exist, but they don't really stay within our reality that long. They actually do cross, much like Bishop stated, back and forth. But that's why there's barely, I mean, the best evidence you'll get when it comes to Bigfoot is, a print, and that's it. Or maybe, if you're lucky, fur. And I think they have found fur, and they've actually done DNA, and they can't even cross-reference it with anything that's here in our reality.
Right.
I find it fascinating how many people are now getting that on film,
Yes.
getting clips of them, and that it really normalizes it.
Yeah. There's something going on with the regularity, the more common, like you're saying, Bishop Rita, it's becoming more and more common where people are getting much more evidence on the Bigfoot or on a dog man, either or. Something you mentioned earlier, Rich, with you being a demonologist, a book I've studied to a degree, and I'm no expert by any means, like you guys blow me out of the water on, for fun on a bad day, I'm sure. I was into a book. It's called the Ars Goetia. It's a list of 72 demons where you could pick a demon if he's got your, this one can do something I want to help me out. So it includes sigil magic, Latin chants, and all that sort of stuff. And I've worked with a demon called Bune, who, she's come to me in dreams and sort of stuff. I have her in I do smoke scrying. It's something I do with incense. And I actually have a quite compelling photo of a perfect eye. Like it looks, you can't deny it. I'll send it to you guys later if you want to see it. But with that sort of stuff, I mean, I've gone past the fact of calling them demons. Maybe just for my own sake. I mean, I'm the type of person, I dabble in stuff and I'm very haphazard, very reckless. I do how I want to do it. Okay, I'll read it, and okay, that's what they do. Okay, so now you're supposed to use this incense. I'm going to use that incense. This colored candle, no, I have a white candle. I'm going to use a white candle. I do whatever, right? I don't believe in protection. I never have any of that sort of stuff. Dale knows that quite well. Now, I don't have anything negative going on here. I mean, my place looks like a Halloween USA year round. I've got in here. I love the macabre. So it's part of the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah.
But are you familiar with that book and any of those types of rituals?
I'm familiar with that book. I'm familiar with many books. One of the things that even Bishop Rita Strugala and I have to do is constantly be reading. In fact, I always have this one around, and I don't know if you can see it. But it's by Rosemary Ellen Gilly, and it's Demons and Demonology, and that's one of many. And I even have a collection, but I am aware of that. I'm of that book you were referring to. I'm also aware of the Solomon's Keys, or Keys of Solomon.
Yeah.
And the danger, and it's my duty as a demonologist, as Lee, for the Old Catholic Church, to inform you that whenever there's any interaction with anything that is known to be dark or demonic, there is something expected in return.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to say your soul, because your soul is strictly yours, and it also belongs to God. But there is a price to pay eventually. It may not happen right away. Yeah, it will happen.
They're very good about waiting.
Yes, they are, and it may take months, years down the road, and then bam, all of a sudden,
yes,
you're going, what the hell just happened here? But it's what we call within being theologian and theologically speaking, it's a covenant. And what you've created, from what you've explained to me, is a covenant between fallen angels, demons, whatever you want to call them. It's still the same. You say tomato, I say tomato.
Yeah.
But my recommendation would be very, very careful, and don't be surprised, because what you may not realize, and we study, Bishop and the whole crew and myself, we study every single day.
Well, I believe
it's just not Google. We're reading actual books that people don't do anymore. Everyone Googles everything.
What's a book?
Yeah. Exactly. And you have to be very, very careful, because just as I was discussing with Dale backstage before the whole show started.
Yes.
Just summoning, like you did, the name, stating the name is summoning.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. So imagine doing some kind of ritual behind the name. You're getting even deeper in, and you don't know how deep you're getting in. Just the fact that you mentioned the name, because we were discussing that I was asked, can you name the demon that you were dealing with when we were filming? And I said, no, I took an oath with the church that I can only mention it to clergy at the time of the possession, if that's the demon that I study, and that is the demon attached to the person that's possessed them. Okay. So imagine just liberally just saying a name, a demonic name, you're immediately giving it power. Wow. And I've noticed in the chat room, Leslie, who happens to be my mentee, whom I actually have trained for several years, is now an actual demonologist for the United States Old Catholic Church.
God bless her.
And she's hi, Leslie. And she's very good at what she does. Yeah. I'm very proud of her. She's already started using everything I've trained her for, but she knows, and she's had her cases, and she's getting there.
One of the producers had asked if I had any video that he could watch that they, because they do recreations in the show.
Oh, cool.
And I told him, if you watch any of this, I said, you put headphones on. I said, you don't let that out there. You don't let any names out there. I said, and he was very good about that. And I'm very glad, but it works as a summoning.
Yeah. Wow. That's the name.
That's crazy. I would have never thought.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dale. Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to acknowledge we have Archbishop Nicholas in the room, just saying hi to everybody as well.
Hi, Nick. That's my
Mary Rosalind is here, and of course Leslie and Jen from Greetings from Beyond Radio. So Jen, welcome.
Hello,
glad everybody's here.
That's my producer. Yeah.
Hi, Jen.
Okay, hi, Jen. We were talking about you earlier. But yeah, no. And our good friend Candace Isaacson is here. So welcome everybody. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, Candace just posted a question. Is there theory that demons are actual dingy?
Jinn.
Jinn?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts?
Rita, ladies first.
You go ahead.
You want me now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's different cultures, and different cultures will call them different things. Fallen angels, demons, jinns. It doesn't matter. Elementals. People tend to, and I personally don't think elementals are demons or fallen angels.
I don't either.
There are some that do, but I don't believe them to be. Hungry spirits, which are more in Japan, and they consider that to be either their version of a demon or a ghost. Having had to study all the cultures over the years and all the different faiths, jinns don't really fit the mold. I would say that's more, to me, would fall in the category of nature spirits more than anything else, but much more powerful. And they've been around, from what I understand in my readings, they've been around for thousands and thousands of years. I mean, even before man was created. So that's my opinion. I think they could very well be, they could be mistaken for, because there's a lot of the same characteristics that you would see in something that we call demonic fallen angels. But remember, even with that, a demon was an angel at one time, serving God. It doesn't mean that they stopped being an angel. It just means that now they serve another God. And they do still have the same knowledge, the same abilities, the same things, except it's just now on a darker plane of existence, and that affects us in a negative way. Hope that answers that question. I don't know. Rita, Bishop Rita, if you want to take over, go ahead.
I agree. I agree a lot with what you're saying. I think at times too that it's almost gotten real to the point where everything is a poltergeist. I hear that all the time. This one is a poltergeist. That one's a poltergeist. They're always poltergeists. I don't know. I think jinn can also, I don't want to say pretend to be a poltergeist, but can come off like a poltergeist. They can be a whole lot more destructive if they want to be. They
Yeah.
can reach the level of demon as far as strength.
Okay.
So I think that sometimes it's, and I'm not really sure if it, I kind of have a hunch that it may depend a lot on how much energy is available, and as to the strength part of it, that it shows at whatever time.
Okay.
I think a gin can be much more stronger if it wants to be. I just don't think, I think it, I don't know. Oh, sometimes I wonder if it's bored and it's like, I think I like I think I'll just act like I'm a poltergeist tonight, or maybe I'll just act like this tonight, whatever. Just,
Sure.
but then again, they can come off, and I think they can be very malevolent if they want to be. I'm like you. I think they're a lot more powerful than just a regular, I don't want to say a regular demon. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. I think that they've been around a lot longer. They know the game better.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So, what, how, who, what, where, and when? The Travel Channel.
That's a lot of W's.
Yeah, I know. Sure, it is. It is. What got you guys involved in your TV show?
Well, for me, I was like the last person to come on board. I guess they had, I think, I don't know. No, were you the last person? Were you? I thought it was me because
When did they reach out to you?
Oh gosh, December. Well, let's put it this way: they reached out to me a lot earlier than December of of the year before we started filming.
Okay.
But
So 2020.
But I didn't answer it. I didn't answer it.
Okay.
Because I had so many times I've been reached out to by different producers and things,
Yeah.
and it just never went through. It never panned out. And
Yeah.
I figured most of them, they would come with, well, we're going to make a movie and then we're going to try to shop it around to different channels. And I'm like, that doesn't work. I don't know. It didn't work in my case. Let's put it that way. There were 3 different ones that I tried with, and it was just not what it should have been. And
Okay.
it never went anywhere, kind of thing. So I quit. I just quit even answering those things.
Yeah.
And I would talk to my guides, like, what is this one here? And it's like, should I talk to this one? It's like, no. And it's like, so I just didn't. And then I was actually shocked when I got the one from the show, and I said, I don't know. I said, should I even talk to them? Because they sounded like they were really up and up. They gave a lot of credentials and stuff that you could check out.
Okay.
And so I said, should I talk to him? And I got an immediate yes. And I'm like, really? Because I was surprised because it said no so many times. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But yeah, and so I did, and I was told at that time that we needed to tape an interview kind of thing, and it had to be done within the next week or so because they had to take it to the channel, to the station or whatever, and they had to see if they liked me, blah blah blah, So, but that's why I thought I was the last one. Rich, when did you get on?
I was actually reached out November 2021.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder if that's
Oh.
because I remember them saying somebody had dropped out. So I wonder if that's why.
If that's the reason.
I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
when they reached out,
so
November
glad you did.
2021. Next thing you knew, I was, picked,
I'm
and
glad.
so think about it, November 2021, and we were filming December 17th, 2021.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Wow,
have much
no
time.
idea.
Yeah, I was like, when they had the Zoom meeting to introduce everyone to everyone when it came to the cast,
Yeah.
I was like, hi. Do I need to bring my diploma and my credentials? Because I don't know what to do. And it was to me, it was like a storm, and that I was caught up in. And I was telling Dale backstage, I was already at that time going through the death rolls of my gallbladder, and that became an issue even when I went to go filming. But I was determined to go filming regardless, and thank God. I mean, it all just happened at the right time, and
Sure.
yeah, and we also did, as Jen said, it was really quite a bit of fun. We did have a fun time. Everyone got to know each other. I think everyone clicked, and I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that Mr. Eli Roth, actually said. I am so surprised how quickly you guys got along and had
Absolutely.
chemistry. So that in itself was, oh, okay. And it was an honor to meet Eli Roth. I'm a
Yeah,
huge fan of Eli
absolutely.
Roth and have seen all of his movies. So when he showed up and I was like, oh, you're Eli Roth. And I'm not kidding. When I went, oh, you're Eli Roth, that guy's like, what, 6'2", 6'3". I'm
You didn't
5'10".
did you point at him and go, do you know who you are?
No, I didn't, but I should have.
Oh, so Candace was asking another question, and my question is where'd it go? It just moved on me. Could a demon / falling angel be another type of ET?
Go ahead, Bishop.
Boy, I'm out of my element on that one. I don't know.
I would say yes, because they could be mistaken for.
Good question.
And how many times in the Bible have we heard the description of the chariots,
Yes.
the wheels within a wheel, the ancient astronauts and whatnot? It sounds a lot like a UFO, but it was used to describe saints going up into heaven or saints coming down or whatnot. I often wonder, since back then, I mean, if I were to go 2,000 years back and I see an airplane or a car or
Right.
let's say a cell phone, and I see a video playing, I'm going to call it magic. I'm going to call it a flying dragon. I'm going to call that car a beast that
Right.
roars as it runs. So I have to think of it that way, and how they would interpret it and put it in, into interpretation into their books. By that being said, I wonder if the wheels of the chariot that were seen back then were actually maybe UFOs, and even fairy rings. I want you to think about it. Fairy rings.
Mhm.
I want you to think of crop circles.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And maybe that was ET. Maybe that was demonic. Maybe, there's so many questions that still need to be answered that we really don't
Right.
have answers for, because that's bleeding a little bit into the paranormal and a little bit into theology, but I'm trying to keep them apart, because right now this is more a paranormal question than anything else. That falls under that umbrella. I would wager to say that there may have been some situations that may have been misconstrued.
Yes.
In where they thought it was alien abduction, alien testing and whatnot, and it was possibly demonic, but they disguised themselves. That is one thing that
That's
demons
a
can do.
possibility. Yeah, that
Yes.
is a possibility. Yeah.
They can disguise themselves. There's always some kind of flaw to them, and they could come across as what you believe to be an alien, but in fact it could be demonic. So yes, that could be a possible thing.
Yeah.
Never ever would have thought. What a take on that. I mean, I love the theories and the different directions we can go in so many directions with the paranormal. A to the Z. I mean, this is one I've never thought of or heard of. This is great, Rich. Everybody out there, TPV Nation, thank you so much for tuning in tonight live. If it wasn't for you fans, it wasn't for great guests like Bishop, Rita Strugala, demonologist Rich Valdes, co-stars of the TV show on the channel, on the Travel Channel, premiering June 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the Legion of Exorcists. Oh my God, Dale and I could not do what you do.
It's 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time.
Oh, my bad. Okay, sorry, I got 8 p.m. on the brain. Thank you. Dale, get on the questions, brother. We got a ton going there, please.
Oh, I know. It's they're just all flying in. I saw where'd it go now? I know Bishop Nick asked one where I gotta get better at finding these.
I think
Keeping
Dale
them in my head.
really got into it.
Bishop Nick's question was, my question is this: as an exorcist, do we send the demon back to hell or to the feet of Jesus for reconciliation?
I can tell you what I do.
Go for it, Rita.
I trained under 3 different bishops. So So I've had extensive training as well. One of them was a Native American in culture. He would always send them to the dry places because the Bible talks about the dry places. That's where he would send them to. Um, we had another one that always sent them to the foot of the cross. And to me, it was more natural to send them to the foot of the cross. To me, it was like sending them to hell was sending them back home. And I just had a problem with that personally. I just didn't, I mean, I'm sure it's not all joy down there for him, but still, to me, I want to send him to the foot of the Christ. It is his call what he wants to do with them. And then that's what happens. And that's what, when Michael takes them off to, to wherever, that's where I always instruct him, is take it to the foot of Jesus. And then Jesus can decide how he wants to deal with them.
Okay.
I agree with her to take them before God himself. I do not believe, because, with all the studies I've done over the years, they didn't fall to hell. During the Great Fall, they fell to earth.
Right.
So they took over the heavens, certain parts of the heavens and earth. So what they control now is the heavens and the earth.
Mm-hmm.
But hell was created for the fallen angels.
Right.
But they are not to be thrown there until Judgment Day. So
exactly.
It's pointless to even say, you go back to hell, because they can't.
Right.
Not yet, at least. And a lot of people,
and we don't have that authority to send them there.
No, we don't. In fact, whenever I've had to do a deliverance, I've always said, and this is one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, I always say, not in the name of Jesus, I command you. When you say I command you, you are then taking the authority that God is using within you as the vessel, and you're swiping that off and saying, I command you. You have no power. It is,
you do in his name.
In his name. So my pastor taught me, the two pastors that first taught me, they always said, they never say I command you. They always say Jesus commands you to go and to leave. And because he's the one with the power, the Holy Spirit and him have the power to do this, not you. Right. So when they leave, I agree with her too. They go on to dry places. Okay. And they go seeking refuge, and then they come back to where they were cast out from. When they find that it's been swept clean, they bring back 7 more dangerous than it.
If you do not fill that void, yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And that's what people don't seem to understand, is that if there is a possession and there is an exorcism that's taking place, and that 1 or 2 or 3 are cast out, they do come back, but they come back each one with 7 more wicked than they. So you're screwed. So you always have to keep up with prayer. You have to keep up with church. You have to keep up with all these things. This is, once again, like I stated at the beginning of the show.
I was always taught as well that when you throw out a demon, when you get them out of that person, you have to put the Holy Spirit back into that person so that there's no room for in the end when they come back.
Exactly. Because a lot of people don't understand that.
No, and a problem I'd run into is there's a lot of people that go, oh, okay, well, I can just go back to partying and doing whatever I want to do because I can just call Rita and she can just do it again and we're good.
No, we're good. That's what Rita and I say. Bye.
Definitely a level of
we risk our lives every time we do this.
Yes.
We risk the people that are with us, your family's lives. These things can attack, and it's not a game, and it's not something to mess with. And if that's the mentality that you have, don't call me.
Right.
Honestly, don't call me because it's not going to do any good. You have to give your will over 100% to get that thing out. When that happens, you are at the worst, the lowest point you've ever been at in your life. And if you think that it's okay to just go back to doing what you want to do and then just do that all over again, I can't help you.
It's kind of like, let's use this as an example. You're a drug addict, you're an alcoholic.
Yep.
You go through all the steps, and you've been on the wagon for weeks, months, maybe years, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's been a while, what's a little bit of drugs, what's a little bit of alcohol gonna do?
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you're in excess. You just let yourself fall off the wagon. And that's why they always say you're always a recovering alcoholic. You're always a recovering addict. Well, I got news for you. If a person is recovering from something demonic that happened to possess them, and let me state this, it's very, very rare for demonic possession to happen. It's not rare for attachments. It's not rare for them to always be around us and listening to us. But for possession, it's very rare. But if and when it happens, do you think I'm going to go back? Let's say I was the one. You think I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing before that got me in the fix that I'm in now, that actually needed Bishop Rita and Bishop James Long and Reverend Whittingham and so on? There's no way. I can't do that. I just don't fathom why people think that way.
Right.
Hi, Luna.
Oh, that was Piper. That's
is that Piper?
But she stole Luna's spot. Usually it's Luna here. Sorry, she's a little mischievous. She's only 6 weeks old, 8 weeks old. So I got to kind of monitor her. So I apologize for the distraction.
No problem.
Rich, and I totally agree with you on the behavioral thing. It's like anything else. You know what? If you're just going to continuously dabble in the recklessness and not understanding your mistakes over and over again, then by all means, like anybody, I mean, us in the paranormal world as well, we'll go in your house, we'll help you out, we'll do what we can. We will cleanse, we will do whatever it is. You want to invite these energies back into your house. Well, I'm not going to keep running back. I don't care how many times or how sorry you are or you didn't mean to do it. No, one time is understandable. Okay, you didn't know. I've taught you everything that I can give you. I can give you the tools.
Yeah.
Oh.
You want to ignore the tools and play with the gun again. Well, you're only going to keep shooting yourself in the foot over and over. So that with you, I'm 100%. You know what? You go in. You guys do what you do. You put your lives on the line dealing with these, and people. If you watch the show or watch anything or read any of the stories by Ed and Lorraine Warren, you'll know like these entities are not something to be dealt with, and you do definitely. And if you can get rid of them, I hope that would be enough to scare you to never do the same thing again.
You would hope.
I would hope.
But I've seen a lot of people go back. I don't get it.
I have too.
But that's almost like the analogy, like criminals. They spend 10, 20 years, they spend 5, 10 years in a jail. They get out. You think that they would never want to go back there again, but I would think the same thing about somebody who's dealt with a possession or a very dark entity. I've heard that they kind of miss it, and because that was their life for so long that it's hard for them to adjust to getting back to. It's not a normal life; it's a new normal for them because they've had to
speak the spiritual. You need to seek the spiritual to keep your soul fed, so that you're not feeling like you've lost, something. That there's a hole there. There shouldn't be. The Holy Spirit is put back into you. Now is when you go out and you find other like-minded people. You get away from the bad influences and you do what you can to keep yourself clean, because you know what? They don't just come after you. They'll come after your family. They'll go after your friends. I mean, that's
how they attack you.
They don't play fair.
They don't attack you per se. They attack the people you love, your family, your husband, your wife, your kids. They know how to get to you. This is, like we said earlier, this is psychological warfare. So naturally, if you got your husband, your wife, your kids, and that you start seeing them systematically, little by little, being taken out one by one, that gets to you emotionally, and they're working to break and bring your defenses down. Think of it.
Would it hurt you more if they came after you personally, or if they went after your little girl?
I expect it. I expect them to come after me. It would,
Yeah.
excuse my language, piss me off if they went after my little girl, of course.
Exactly.
And that's
And
what they want.
Oh,
And they know that.
They want to incite
well,
that.
yeah, no, they're gonna hurt you in the worst possible way by getting to the people you love the most, which is 100% correct. I've got Elaine Jones said, I've been watching, finally figure out how to comment and say hello, Rich.
Hi, Eileen. How are you?
Thank you for joining.
But yeah, no, like I said, it's so much like what you guys do. I have so much respect for what you guys do. And it is, I mean, this is what you guys do is not by far should be taken lightly. Like you said, you've both been through years and years and years of formal training. This is not something like Rich said, I can't remember if it was backstage or during the beginning of the show, but this is not something you pick up a book and go out there and say, yeah, I can go fight a demon, because that thing's going to whoop your ass just for fun.
Yeah.
And you're not even going to know what's going to hit you.
If you don't have a calling for this,
Yeah.
you should never do anything, get anywhere near it. Because if you don't have a calling for it, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to be able to beat it.
I call it the Job effect, is what I went through. Actually, not the Job effect. It was the Jonah effect.
Oh, okay.
Jonah, the story with Jonah was he denied, his calling.
Yeah.
He was told to go to this one town over and over and over and over again. And then finally God just said, okay, he ain't listening. Whale swallow him and vomit him where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's what initially ended up happening, because even after I started my training, I started realizing I started getting more people asking for help. And I was like, I really don't want this. But I felt empathically I needed to. And I did. And then I'd be like, I felt like, no, I'm not supposed to get into this. Stay away. Because I would rather not have this calling. I'll be straight up honest with you. They mess with you, just like she said, with your family and your health.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what I went through in 2021 into 2022, I was literally playing cards with death in a hospital room for 2 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah.
I dropped from 200 pounds to 156 pounds because I was on a liquid diet because I could not eat. They had me on a liquid bag. So here I am. All of a sudden we're called in to do the pickup shoots. And I'm like, this might be a problem. But I somehow, God and the universe worked it to where, you know what? No, you're going to go. And I was 1 day removed, and I'm sure Bishop Rita didn't know this, 1 day removed driving back to California from having taken my last oral antibiotic.
No, I didn't know.
So God bless, every situation that happened, it happened for a reason. And you know what? I'm blessed to have gotten to know the whole cast that we worked together, the production. They were all amazing. So it was an experience. And I'm just thankful, and I know I speak for Bishop Rita and the rest of the cast, that we were chosen to do this. And I know people are going to trash us. I really don't care. Those people don't pay my rent. They don't pay my anything.
And they haven't gone out there and helped all these people we've helped.
Exactly. And still do to this very day.
Yes.
I get emails and emails and emails every day. You know what? You want this?
Go for it.
Go for it. You got it.
Go for it.
Good luck.
So talking about the cast and everything, now, out of all the cast members, did any of you guys know all the other cast members before?
I knew none of them.
That was the first time you guys met each other?
I had seen Bishop Long on TV and stuff, but I did not know him at all. And I didn't know any of the other ones as well. And I mean, we all gelled so quickly. I still call them my brothers in Christ. I feel like they're all my brothers, and I can call them at any time I need anything, and we do. every month or so or whatever it is, somebody will chime in and just see how everybody's doing in that. And we stay in contact. And that's not because we have to, it's because we love each other. I mean, it was, I really feel like these are my brothers.
The only cast member I knew was Bishop James Long, whom I've known now for going on 14 years. I've worked with him. He's trained me. He's my mentor. And I'm presently recognized in the United States Old Catholic Church as their resident demonologist. So it was a pleasure to see Bishop Long, and Bishop Rita got to see how he and I just, mess around with each other. And, he's a big John Denver fan. I'm not.
Oh, wow.
And
Hi, there you go.
I showed him a video. Let's just say that it was a heavy metal.
Because it was precious.
It was a heavy metal rock star with the Marilyn Manson eyes, and he was singing "Take Me Home," Country Road, and he's doing it like heavy metal style. And I'm showing Bishop, and he's like, "Good Lord, what's wrong with him? Is he possessed?" And I'm like, "No, this is awesome." And I was rocking out to it, and here's Bishop.
He's looking at it. He said, "That's blasphemy."
This is blasphemy. Take this away from me. I'm like, come on. He's like, John Denver, St. John Denver. How dare you do this? I'm like, oh, come on. Get over it, man.
Jed says, Rita, I still have that video.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, she does. Bishop Rita and Jen were recording this as it was happening, and it was on the fly. It was fun. We were having fun.
Great.
You know what? And I think that's probably what's going to make this show that much more special, is because you guys gelled that good together and were able to work together. So yeah, I mean, so it is great when you can bond with the people that you're close with. I mean, besides the fact, like, you all have something in common, right? You're all doing the same work. And this is, in the paranormal field, I wish more people would get this point too. Yeah. Instead of fighting amongst each other, I'm a better exorcist than you. No, I'm a better exorcist. I've done more. You know what? Who cares? You guys were gelling over the fact that you guys were all doing the same task, helping people to overcome a very tragic thing in their lives, because it is tragic. It's no different than being in a car accident. You become traumatized.
And I say this with all due respect. I've been in both fields, the paranormal field and the theological field, for over 35 plus years. What people need to really start understanding is that theology, which involves demonology, exorcisms, cleansings, and from the church, liberation from anything demonic, if there happens to be one, has nothing to do with the paranormal. Nothing. The times that as a paranormal investigator, I've gone to help other teams, and they have a resident demonologist, and I go and I ask them, because it's my job to ask. Oh, great, a fellow demonologist, and I say, so who was your mentor? Who trained you? And they're like, oh, I just read a book or two. Oh, what? Okay. So what church are you affiliated with? I mean, Bishop Rita would understand this. Before I go out as a demonologist, I need to ask Bishop Long to pray for me, Amen. To mass, and I have to come back and report. And he's praying before, during, and after. Yep. And I have the authority of the church in which to do this. So I then, of course, I asked this, demonologist, what church are you a part of? Well, I haven't gone to church in 8 years. I'm like,
that's a problem.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You say you're a demonologist, right? What training do you have? What church are you a part of? You can't answer those questions. And they're like, well, I guess I'm a self-proclaimed. So, you're a self-proclaimed. So you're not observed or recognized by a church. You have no formal training to be a demonologist, which is all theological. But unfortunately, and let's face this, guys, what has happened since early 2000s to present day is instead of parapsychologists, which are individuals with a degree that can be in the paranormal field and do what they do and are recognized by the school, university, do what we all do now, which is paranormal investigating.
Yes.
We don't have a degree.
Right.
They do. So in saying that, that has bled into demonology and exorcists, and they have no formal training because they don't have the certificate. And meanwhile, you have these self-proclaimed demonologists. I can back it up. Bishop Rita can back it up. Everyone on the cast can back it up. But those other people, when they start talking and they start saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a demonologist," and I ask them, "Prove it." Yeah, not like that, but I ask them, "Well, share," because I can share. They can't. You know why? Because they're not. It's like right now me saying, "I have a brain tumor. I'm going to go to a proctologist." Really? A proctologist? Are you sure about that? You got a brain tumor? You want to go to a... Nah, wrong end, buddy. Wrong end. Just saying. But that's pretty much what's going on nowadays.
I totally agree. There's so many people out there who watch a video, read a book, watch a couple of episodes, and they think, "Oh, I can do that," but they don't realize that this is the big issue, is that it takes more than a book. It takes proper training to do what you guys do. So like I said, I have so much respect for what you guys do.
I like that question, by the way, by Candace.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so Candace asks, in your time off, what do you do for fun or hobbies?
Go ahead, Bishop. You take it.
I make stained glass and mosaic tables, tabletops, wall hangings, stuff like that. Just gets my mind off stuff, and I just enjoy doing it.
On my off time.
Awesome. You collect comic books.
And this is a plate.
Woo woo.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And I collect comics. I love collecting books. Not much into antiques because having worked with John Zaffis for so many years, and I've told him, and he is by far, he's the boss.
There you go.
Boss. I call him boss. I told him, you keep collecting that and you keep your museum and have fun with that.
I have sent him 3 dolls that I have ended up with from other people that no longer wanted those dolls.
Oh, wow.
And one of them, it was crazy, was a good friend of mine. She had bought it at Goodwill. And it was just like a corn husk hair type doll, that kind of thing. She would cut its hair and it would grow. Then it started leaping off of the dresser at people when they walk in the room and stuff. And it's like, no, this thing's got to go.
Yeah.
And so I bound it and like several times, and I put it in a box. I let Zaffis know I was sending it to him, obviously.
Yeah.
And so we get to the place, and there's blessed salt in there. There's, anything I could think of to keep that thing in there with holy water and the blessed salt and all that good stuff. And the lady at the shipping thing, she said, "Oh, is something broken in there? Because I can hear something shifting." I said, "Oh no, it's fine. It's blessed salt. Don't worry about it." And she's like, "What?" And I said, "It's fine. It's
she
fine."
may have thought that you had put something alive in there.
She puts the package. She said they come at like 6 o'clock to pick them up.
Yeah.
And this was like around 1:30 in the afternoon. So she took and she put it on the shelf. And I went down. This was just like a strip mall place that has one of the shipping centers. And that's where I went. So I went down the same mall and I went into another store. I don't think I was there 5 minutes and all the lights went out. and it was in the whole thing. It was in the whole script of it. And so they had to call out people to come, everything. And I had told my friend, because she was with me when I went to ship. I said, come on, we need to go. So we left. We went back a couple days later. The lady said, you know, it was the weirdest thing. She said, as soon as FedEx came and they picked up that package, the lights and everything came back on. I looked at my friend after we left and I said, oh, dear God, please don't let there be a plane crash tonight. Last I heard, Zappos had said he had bound it 3 different times and still hadn't taken it out of the box yet.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That was at Goodwill.
Candace made the comment. Cheryl, I'm sure, was happy to get another delivery.
Yeah, I'm sure that was
Zappos' wife.
Yeah.
she must cringe every time the UPS truck shows up.
Or Amazon. Well, actually, I'd be happy to see Amazon, not the UPS truck, but now UPS, they deliver both. So
yeah. But no, that's like I said. Yeah, no, I mean, Rich, your side hobby is amazing. I collected comic books for many, many years myself.
I have too.
You have two. I got 500.
No, I said I did too. I used to collect them.
And you gave them away?
No, I actually still have them. They're in storage, but I haven't been actively collecting in quite a while now.
Well, you better start looking, because there's a lot of pieces there that are worth lots of money.
Could be, because a lot of these were my dad's when he was a boy.
Oh, hell yeah! I'll help you look.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Rich
will go, oh, this one's worthless. I'll just take this one off your hands.
Don't worry about it. It's worth $1 million. Okay.
I'd be okay. I wouldn't know.
So I know you guys can't give a lot of details about the show because you're waiting for the show to debut and everything. What was, in your opinion, what was the best part of working on the show?
You want to go first or you want me to?
It's up to you.
For me, it was getting to hear everybody else's stories, because all I had to base on was what I've been through. And I love that the stories are so varied. It's not like everyone is oh, this was the worst thing it ever, worst one you ever did. This was the worst one they did, whatever. It wasn't, it's so, there's just so much out there, and the stories were so different, and that I really enjoyed hearing that. And at one point I was listening to several of y'all's stories, and I was thinking to myself, my God, if that happened to me, I don't know if I'd still do this. I'm just being honest, but that for me, that and getting to meet the crew member, that was the best.
For me, it was, as she said, meeting everyone, getting to hear their stories, getting to hear their backgrounds, their credentials and whatnot. And just, it wasn't just during the filming, but after, behind the scenes, of getting to know each other during lunchtime, which I wish we had more than just 25 minutes. But I remember the first day we went in the film, we had to be on set at the church by 7:25. We had to go in, or 7:20, and go in and get our clothing on, get our makeup on, and be on set by 7:35 a.m. And we were filming till 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, we had to be out of the church at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a full day.
Oh, wow.
And we got 5-minute breaks?
Yeah.
Like every 1 hour and a half, something like that, 5-minute breaks.
Yeah.
So honestly, it was, that was for 4 days straight, and it got to us here and there. There were a few of us that couldn't sleep because we were like, now we got to rush back and take a shower, go to bed, and wake up. I don't know about y'all, but I was up by like 4 a.m.
Me, I don't normally go to sleep until 2-3 in the morning.
And me being from Eastern Standard Time and then being in the Pacific, time.
Yeah.
I was, my time
It
clock
messed
was
with
way
all
off.
of us. Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
Oh, no, I mean, amazing. I mean, I really can't wait to see the show when it debuts June 1st. I'll really,
Neither for
really
me.
look forward to seeing this. I imagine it's going to be. I mean, I guess to see the finished product. I mean, I guess that's
Yeah.
what's going to be exciting for you guys as well to see
Yeah.
just how this all came. Like you guys know your part. You probably saw some of the reenactments being done, but to
No,
see it all put
no.
together, no.
No, we didn't
No.
get to see any of that stuff. I did meet up with the girl that plays me in one of the stories,
Oh, wow.
and she's wonderful. We went out to dinner while I was there. It was great.
How neat.
But no, we didn't get to see any of what they did. So even watching the trailer, I was blown away. I mean,
I was just hoping
No.
they wouldn't pick the same guy they had picked for me for the episode I did for A Haunting many years back.
oh,
And I was like, I hope they don't pick that guy again. Because he sounded like he just came off the boat from Cuba. I was born in the States.
yeah,
And he had like, you know, the hair around here. He had a full beard. And I swear to you, I could have sworn he said, Lucy, we must go now. This is demonic. We have to go now, Lucy. And I'm like, I don't talk like that. Where'd they get this guy from? He was like 5'4". I'm 5'10". And he's like this scrawny little thing. And I'm like, with this Cuban accent, is like, this is demonic. We have to do something right now, man. We have to do something right now. And I'm like, I don't talk. You know, Bishop, do I talk like that?
not
I
at
mean,
all.
seriously, for reals?
Not
No.
at all.
No, they actually, for me, I saw the picture of the guy they picked. I don't know how he sounds, but they picked a guy that looks like someone that would have been in Sons of Anarchy. And I was like, okay,
There
that
you
works. That works. All right. Not that scrawny little thing. We have to go now, Lucy. And I'm like, what the hell was that? No. That
I
didn't
thought
work
they
for
did
me.
really good getting the people that they did to play us. I mean, I could definitely look at the trailer and knew who they were portraying, kind of thing, which is good. You know, they did a real good job doing that.
So the times, I'm going to make sure I got it correct here. 10 p.m. Central Time, 8
No.
p.m.
No, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Pardon?
10 p.m. Eastern time,
No,
9 o'clock Central Standard.
All right, 10 p.m. 9 o'clock Central. Let's do a retake here. That is going to be on the Travel Channel, the new series premiere. The
Travel
And
Channel,
Discovery
Discovery Plus,
Also
and
on
maybe HBO Max. So
Yeah.
it'll be
So many-
streaming on Discovery Plus as well.
Yep.
So many channels. Wow.
Yeah.
You guys will be everywhere.
Hello?
Yeah, you guys.
Hello. Yep, there we go.
What happened?
I don't know who's saying hello. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah, I just heard a voice say hello, and I was like, "Hello." I was
Hi,
like,
God.
and I think that's every. Jen just said every Thursday night. So there we have it, folks. So that
For 6
absolutely amazing.
June 1st.
Wow, I mean, what an amazing show. I just want to say thank you to both Bishop Rita and Rich for coming on and talking with us.
Thank you for having me.
Michael John, what do you got to say?
Again, I want to say, like I always say, when we get awesome guests like Bishop Bruce Strugala, pardon me, demonologist Rich Valdes. I mean, talk about an education in demonology, an education in exorcism right here, right now, and so much more. I mean, I can't wait to tune in. It's going to be a heck of a show. I'm sure, I have no doubt it's going to be a very successful series. I see up the road you guys doing way more than just one season, for sure. Thank you so much to everybody out there in the TPV Nation tuning in tonight, engaging, commenting, asking questions, because that's what it's about. It's about you, the fans. It's about you, our guests. That's what makes Dale and I, us, and who we are and what we get to do. Windsor, Ontario's own, the Paranormal Voice. Everybody, that's it for us for now. I can't believe it's been over an hour. The time has flown by. We will see you on the other side. But in the meantime and in between time, Dale, together, 1, 2, 3, happy hauntings.
Happy hauntings.
Peace.